During the pandemic, many vulnerabilities of the global supply chain and manufacturing as a whole came to the fore. It became imperative for businesses to establish a well-functioning and agile manufacturing unit for any future uncertainties. To operate in a resilient, secure, and sustainable way, manufacturers need digital modernization and a strong culture. Hello and welcome to a special conversation. Sears and Google Cloud present the Cloud Enterprise in association with Moneycontrol to talk about how technology is helping the manufacturing industry respond, recover, and reimagine. We're now joined by Vipin Kumar, the Chief Information Officer Global at Uflex, Ashwin Prajapati, CIO, Symphony Limited, Naresh Kumar Agarwal, the Head of Information Technology, Vikram Solar Limited, Ranganathan Iyer, Group CIO and EVP IT, JBM Auto, Tejpreet Chopra, President and CEO, BLP, Manoj Kumar Chauhan, the Vice President, Uno Minda Group, Neerav Garodia, Director at Sears, Deepak Singh, Head of Corporate Accounts, Google Cloud, and I am Reema Tendulkar, Anchor and Editor at CNBC TV 18. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in. Vipin, we are meeting on the close of COVID, hopefully behind us. As we enter 2022, having put behind another wave, what are your business and technology imperatives?
See, this pandemic has taught the Indian industry a lot of lessons. Though there was a lot of bad things about pandemic, but the good thing about pandemic, if I had to point one, was that it brought businesses focus more on IT, and suddenly businesses found that if things go out of control and their physical operations are disrupted, how do they run their businesses? And since the last 2 years, IT has actually enabled all of this. So as we from the recent past to the going forward, I think businesses are today looking at a very strong automation layer. Previously, organizations used to do your ERP and then think possibly they have automated their processes, but that is not the case. A lot of workflow applications around the ERP needs to be built up if the flow of documents has to be digitally controlled. And secondly, I also find that a lot of work has to happen on the automation of inventories, on the automation of warehouses, on increasing the mobility layer and upbringing your infrastructure to be future ready. And cloud has played a lot of role into that. And more importantly, the focus even for IT has shifted to cybersecurity. Cybersecurity has been a key thrust area since the last many years, but now the focus has become more. And going forward with the kind of situation we are in today, we really don't know whether the fourth wave comes or not, or what impact it has on people. I think slowly and steadily, we have to use technology to make businesses more resilient, and that is where the focus is now.
Neerav, we've known the benefits of digitization. As Vipin pointed out, there is inventory, warehouse optimization. You want to have end-to-end visibility of the supply chain, make your infrastructure future ready. There is a focus on cybersecurity. The benefits are endless and it's known. But yet, the manufacturing industry as a whole has been delayed in adopting the digital architecture. What, according to you, is the reason for that?
See, if you look at, Indian manufacturing has still not tested the global markets. If you look at the manufacturing industry in India, barring a few sectors, most of the manufacturing today is quite happy making products and selling it into defined markets, because India itself is a big market. So, but the good part in the last 3, 4, 5 years, what is happening is that the economy is opening up. Once the economy opens up, then you are competing directly with the global players. And once the global player competition happens, you are forced to adopt technologies, processes which are more aligned towards best practices. Number one. Number two, Indian companies over the last half a decade, if you see, are trying to now become part of the global supply chains. The focus is slowly shifting that if India has to be a global economy, then we have to somewhere imbibe that culture of making India into a global manufacturing hub. Now, this is the turning point. This is where the manufacturing industry, if you look at that, is adopting technology, is because the quality has to go up, the productivity has to go up, the errors have to go down, and we have to move from a concept of first time right manufacturing to every time right manufacturing. So these are the trigger points, which will actually take it forward. And all the defensive attitude which we had, because the markets were less and our products were only tuned to defined markets, is slowly and steadily is getting replaced by the Indian economy getting more globally aligned. So future, I think in manufacturing, you will see a lot of technology getting adopted.
Deepak, what role does technology play? Because digitizing a manufacturing industry is much more than simply changing a website. The competitively differentiating assets are spread across physically across various parts of the globe for many companies. Each one brings with itself a different operational technology stack, so changing and modifying it becomes challenging. What role does technology play as the Indian manufacturing industry wants to go global?
Hey, thanks, Rima. And it is good to be part of this panel from the industry with the industry leaders. Just to share my thought, I believe technology was always there, right, as a building block or maybe a contributor to the digital and the automation. The last 2 years has just made that to be the top priority for most of the industry leaders. And when I talk about automation, we are not thinking about just a back end or the front end. I believe the focus on the automation has been around four areas. That is what now customers are talking to us, where from the Google point of view, our services has been helping them. The one is around the productivity, and it is not just the current product and the business. Customers are looking to diversify their business, and like what we heard that they're also looking to go global and go fast, right? The second is more on the safety. The safety is around the employee and also the data, because not all customers, all people are working from their current location. So the boundaries of safety and the data is also getting bigger and broader. And the technology is one area where you can control and can have a better view of those distractions. The third is on the quality, which is more about a forecasting or tracking a defect or getting into a fixer before it get failed, right? So those are the other priorities which most of the business have. And the last and the super important is, I would say, sustainability, right? If you look at the manufacturing industry, the power, energy, and the resources are the key contributor to their growth. And they want to make sure that the technology helps to automate the sustainability part as well. So these are the four areas we see a pattern. And as a Google Cloud, we have our product and services that can be stitched together to kind of give a end-to-end solution to our customers.
Ranganathan, reducing cost, bringing in optimization, as Deepak was talking about, the first lever that customers are talking about when they want to go digital is that they want to bring in productivity, which will help them diversify and compete globally. So the scope of optimization is a constant need for manufacturing industries. Could you throw some light on your thoughts on how technology is playing a role and what the benefits you've seen on the first lever of productivity are?
Thanks for the opportunity. Let us illustrate with the example. In the last 2 years during pandemic, we realized how important the manpower is. That's number one. This directly correlates that we have to ensure the manpower is healthy always, and whatever is required for that, technology has helped identifying those things so that immediate corrective action is taken. Number two, because of this importance of manpower and shortage of manpower, the process, the customer related quality checking, which is very essential for us to supply the product to the customer without defect, hampered. This also opened up the manufacturing team to think about how to intervene technology so that the quality aspect of it is also automated than of having a manual interaction for ensuring the quality. Number three, if we want to increase the efficiency because we have less manpower, we have to ensure that the data which is available in the machine is also collected. It was there for many years, the SCADA or the PLCs. It is not new for our industry. But collecting the data and drawing out intelligence out of it to ensure time for manufacturing reduced because of a machine downtime. So these are all the three areas where we have focused, which has helped us increasing the efficiency of the product. Number one, reducing the cost naturally, and ensuring employees are safe, so that the available manpower is performing to their potential.
You've touched upon a lot of important points. The fact that given the kind of attrition that we have also and the workforce shortage, automation does indeed play a big role. You spoke about quality control, and you also ended it by talking about how to extract data intelligence. So, Naresh, if you could come in here, right? Manufacturing companies today are generating a vast amount of data, and data sources are myriad. But the problem is that data is not standardized, right? And you need to do real time analysis on that data. So that is a big challenge. So can you tell us how y'all are going about it?
In terms of data analysis, is more important nowadays, because there are more and more data coming from different sources, and the data analytics plays a important role in industries nowadays after this pandemic also. So we need technology to help business in terms of 3 points. I will touch upon 3 points. First is improved decision making, second will be more effective marketing, and third will be more efficient in operations. So in terms of decision making, companies need data, what the data is coming across all the platforms, maybe finance, production, supply chain, marketing, everywhere the data is coming, and the data has to be collated. It may be through cloud technology, it may be through ERP solutions which we have. So all the data to be collated, and the 360 degree along all operations and the points to be noted down. And it will help if you have a clear cut dashboard. For a dashboard maybe for MD or a chairman, dashboard maybe for production president, and it may be different types of dashboards which can be built, which will help decision making in a faster way, on time decision. So the second is, if you can see the data for related to marketing, you need effective marketing, means customer connections and customer centric decision has to be taken in a faster way. Datas are coming through social media, datas are coming through your website, chat channels, WhatsApp channels. There are so many channels where data is coming through the customers. The feedbacks are coming. You have to analyze the feedback, you have to analyze that data in a proper way, and has to respond back immediately, because the customer is waiting for your response immediately. They cannot wait for email to be answered in 24 hours. So faster decision making, for that you need good chatbots also. And for efficient operations, in terms of operations in the organization, IIoTs are playing a very big role now. Industry for data analysis in the world of production environment is also needed. So all the production processes are streamlined, and proper way of production is happening. So it will save a lot of money, it will save a lot of decision making in terms of proper production processes.
The use of dashboard, the use of chatbots. Ashwin, at Symphony, can you tell us how you are bringing data to life and how technology is helping you play a role to do faster analytics when you get that data from your equipments, connecting with your customers?
As you know, we are into the seasonal industry, and we are leading into the air cooling solution. So data plays very important role in our, I mean, in our case, and we get the data from different sources, whether it's market, or it's our sales service, or any functions. We get a lot of data, and this data we also use the analytics tool to analyze the data and we do the predictive analysis. We also do the customer sentiment analysis, like how and what the customer feel about us, or how the market pulse is on that. So we go up to that level of analysis. So we use the analytical tools. You have a couple of analytics tools which we use it to make sure that we do the what if analysis, we do the predictive analysis, we and on that, our decisions are always data driven. So we also use the couple of tools to do the demand forecast and all things. So data is very crucial. We use the smart manufacturing. We use the artificial intelligence, machine learning to make sure that whatever business decisions we are taking is purely on the basis of the tools we use. So we invest heavily into the technology in terms of with the analytics, or it's a process automations, or it's a productivity improvement, or it's a manufacturing excellence. These are the area we constantly check, whether through the problem statement or through the our own analysis. We constantly hunt for an opportunity where we improve the productivity, we improve the customer satisfaction. We can reach to the last mile to the connectivity to the customer. And we also always ensure that how we can improve our response time to customer, whether it's sales or service. So we use lot of technology. We use the number, whether it be the WhatsApp, whether it is the our call center is also we enable through AI, ML and all. So we use technology. Let it be sales, let it be operation, let it be marketing, let it be the production. Each of area we use the technology in terms of process automation, in terms of the data analysis, and take the data driven decisions.
Across the stack completely. Manoj, artificial intelligence today has reached a level of maturity, so it's become an essential ingredient, and it holds a there are promising applications with the use of artificial intelligence in manufacturing. What role does AI and ML play at Una Mindo, whether Minda Group, whether it's for quality control, predictive maintenance, supply end-to-end supply side visibility, supply chain response time, go to markets? Could you elaborate a little bit more?
Yeah, thank you. Currently in Uno Minda Group, we are in a process of making our all the processes as smart processes, whether it is planning and strategy, the smart supply chain, then the digital manufacturing using MES. Currently, we are practicing in Uno Minda Group mostly the IoT, machine to machine interface, then calculating the downtime, the productivity level, the OEs. We are also greatly focusing on automation, particularly robotic automations using of cobots. And we are also using rapid prototyping and warehouse management. However, the support processes also need to be digitized. So we are using PLM in our RFQ management and the new product development. And we are using also, we are in a process, in a proto stage, some pilots we have developed as a paperless lines where everything is digitized and there's no use of papers. However, the other processes, if we talk about sales forecasting and all that, we have developed our in-house solutions for the sales forecasting. However, we are planning to go for crystal ball in the near future. So other than that, few more things we are doing, like our all HR processes around success factor, then our compliance tools and audit trackers. So all these things we are doing at Minda Group. However, in future, we are also working on artificial intelligence for more machine to human interface and predictive and prospective analysis. So that is all from Minda side.
Naresh, what according to you are the key drivers, the trends in the use of AI and ML in manufacturing industry? And if you would like to add anything.
Sure. Sure, Rima. I would give you a simple example, a practical example, which we are using right now. And for manufacturing solar module, we need 4-5 types of major components, which is the major cost of that component. If I can put, we have put a device or a software, you can say, that is called dynamic predictive analysis of the pricing of the raw material. It is done through the deep learning and AI ML technology. So with the use of that, if we get the data of all the raw materials for past 4-5 years and do a trend analysis through the use of machine learning, the cost of the raw material can be predicted for next 6 months or 1 year in the future also, how it will perform, how it will enhance. And by doing this, I can reduce my acquisition. So that is the way we are using AIML for getting our raw material purchase on a particular perfect price.
Very, very helpful, Naresh. Tejpreet, let's move on and talk about cloud. Can you tell us where cloud exactly is working for the manufacturing industry? Where do you engage with customers? What are their key asks from you?
Great. No, thanks so much, Rima, for having me on this chat. I think the topic is absolutely essential in terms of what we're doing. And I'll just start with explaining a little story to put it all in perspective. We were investing in very, very large sums of money in building large wind farms and solar farms. And in my prior role at GE, we used to make all these turbines, and I would tell people turbines never fail. But what happened a few years ago was one of our turbines burned down to ashes. So I went to all my suppliers and I said, guys, this is not acceptable. I can't have a turbine burning down. And that's when we ended up creating this AI platform. It's called Orion, where we started collecting thousands of tags of data from all our wind farms and solar farms and used algorithms to predict failures in these machines and improve machine availability from the high 80s to the high 90s, and saw a huge improvement in financial returns. So that's how Industry.ai got created. And today it's one of the leading enterprise AI technology companies in India. Now, let me explain to you why it's important and the use of cloud. At the end of the day, all of us during COVID, it showed that supply chains are broken, and everybody, like all my prior speakers mentioned, that everybody's trying to improve productivity, quality, safety, sustainability in the manufacturing process. And therefore, a lot of these other large corporations in steel, chemical, auto manufacturing, and large global energy companies came to us and asked us if we can replicate what we did on that wind turbine solution across the world. And therefore, we ended up expanding our platform to provide a complete end-to-end solution, where the first step is we go into the factories, climb up cranes, go into the mines, go into steel factories, and digitize the entire production line. So that's step number one. And what we do is we actually just recently digitized a 2-kilometer steel factory, where we digitized the entire steel factory, step one, got all the data out onto the cloud, did all the analytics, and now we can improve productivity and factory productivity on the steel factory as well. So therefore, why is the cloud essential? Basically, what we're doing at Industry.ai is creating the metaverse of the industrial world. Now, what does that mean? The metaverse brings together 4 key parameters. One is the cloud infrastructure, and that's the base on which everything is built. Then you actually have the physical infrastructure, which is the IoT devices, the sensors. On the top, you can think of the digital world, which is your AI, digital twin, virtual reality. But all these 3 components come in to create the 4th thing, which is how do we ultimately drive productivity, quality, sustainability, and safety in the manufacturing world. And that is what we are doing in Industry.ai, is creating the first global metaverse of the industrial world when we bring all this together. Now, coming back to your question, Rima, why is the cloud important? And the cloud is important for the following reasons. One, it gives us scalability, because we can go from 1 steel factory to 20 steel factories overnight without a problem. And that's exactly what we did in the renewable energy world, where we were able to connect 1 wind farm in India to hundreds of wind farms in France, Germany, Spain, Italy, Portugal. We could get thousands of tags of data from thousands of wind turbines overnight. And the only reason we could do that is because you have a strong cloud provider at the back end, 1. 2, the cloud providers provide us microservices and components that makes us easier for us to provide all our AI products to all our customers that drives repeatability, scalability, affordability, and time to implement. And therefore, we can now go into a factory and digitize the entire chemical factory, auto factory, steel factory very, very quickly because of the microservices and components we get from the cloud providers. The third element is security. Like one of the earlier speakers said, the cloud and the infrastructure in terms of security is provided. So that's the ability to do all this. And this whole world of Industry 4.0, the speed at which the innovation and disruption that's happening in India will set the standard for what's going to happen all over the world, because I see the level of innovation in India as far greater, and that's being driven by 5 reasons. One is the cloud provides us the scalability that didn't exist before. 2 is high performance compute. Once upon a time, only a few large technology companies had it. Today, all of us as people and companies have access to high performance of compute thanks to the cloud providers. 3 is mobility. Today, I can get data from any corner of the world, from a wind turbine on the top of a hilltop in Romania to Australia. I can get that data for virtually free to the cloud anywhere in the world. 3, sensor prices have declined rapidly, and that's what's providing the scalability. And lastly, in India, we have human capital to help us scale. So hopefully, Rima, that provided an answer is why is the cloud criticality? What are the key elements for scale? And I think what we've showed is our ability to scale it up across steel, chemicals, energy, and provide the entire end-to-end solution for most large corporates is what's making us change the game in productivity in manufacturing.
Tejpreet, that's a very comprehensive answer. Nina, would you like to come in on that? Tejpreet was talking about the big trends and how cloud is helping in scalability, in security, the speed of innovation, go to market. What are the big trends that you are watching in terms of the next step of automation? We're entering into Industry 4.0. And can you share how cloud technologies are helping your clients?
Sure. Thanks, Seema, to start with. So I think what we heard from the stalwarts here is right on the money, right? The focus is Industry 4.0 for building smart factories, right? The focus is data. How do we unleash the power of data, right? And the focus is also on productivity and collaboration improvements. So if I have to talk about these 3 solutions, right? I'll start with the Industry 4.0. So recently, LG implemented smart factory, right? Where they wanted to improve the inspection process in the LCD panel to detect anomalies. So LG implemented Edge IoT along with the cloud technologies to run AI models on the edge, right, without taking the data over to the cloud. And with that, they are getting the required agility and also the accuracy of 99.9%, which is much, much better than what a human would be doing, right, in terms of defect detection. So with this, LG is saying rough to, let's say, around $1 million per product per line per year. Right? That's the kind of savings that they've got by implementing a Industry 4.0 or a smart factory. So that's one of the key trends that we have seen across in the industry. The second one I was talking about was the unleashing the power of data, right? So the IT and the OT systems have been around forever. Right? It's been almost 2 decades where we have manufacturing companies have built their IT systems, they've built their OT systems in terms of MES, in terms of SCADAs, in terms of PLCs, right? But how do we bring this entire story along? How do we combine this IT data and OT data to really derive some meaningful insights out of that? Right? So then I would like to put an example of what Ether Energy is doing, right? Ether Energy is able to crunch huge volumes of data at the really fast pace in order to obtain the granular level of details for the driver experience. So Ether 450 basically derives information from 43 different sensors, right, which is powered by cloud technologies to give them the insights on predictive maintenance in terms of how is the battery being used, whether alerting the riders on what's the unoccupied electricity station available next, right? So various use cases that companies like Ether have been able to build by combining this data, right? So that's the second key trend that we are seeing. How can you really utilize your data? The third key trend I would like to talk about is definitely on the remote collaboration and productivity improvements. So companies like, for example, Hero MotoCorp or Ashok Leyland, Royal Enfield, they've leveraged collaboration tools like Google Workspace to improve the collaboration amongst their employees. And then there are cases also where it's not just restricted to employees, right? It's also even gone to the customers, where customers are holding a virtual showrooms to let the customer walk in and experience a real showroom virtually through products like Google Meet, right? So these are some of the trends that we have seen across on the industry, Rima.
Ranga, would you like to come in on this?
Yeah, you see, cloud is really great. It is must have. There are cases where cloud cannot be the best fit. For example, when you are trying to deploy MES kind of a solution where we are going to have data collected from machines, and after collecting the machine, we are drawing out some results, and then we are controlling the machine. During that process, the time left out to take a decision is less than a second. So yes, cloud is must have where you need scale, etc. I agree to that, but all the requirements of business cannot be met with cloud. So we have to balance the requirement based on business needs, which I wanted to convey.
Yeah, Rima, no, I completely agree with Mr. Ranga, because that's exactly what we are seeing as well. So while the cloud has its benefits, I think in the world of manufacturing, we're all going into the near edge, far edge right now. And increasingly, I'm seeing more and more innovation of us, our ability to deploy algorithms all the way down to the really, really far edge, which is going to help increasing the speed. And therefore, what we are sometimes trying to see is if we can deploy some of these algorithms on the controllers that go into machines that provide the faster services or the response time that manufacturers need.
Deepak, would you like to come in on how vendors like you all can provide a solution to the problems that Ranga sir was talking about?
Yeah, so it was interesting to see and hear multiple use cases, pattern, and the experience. Interestingly, I believe that within manufacturing, in fact, manufacturing and agriculture are the backbone of our Indian economy. And if you look at manufacturing, the pattern, the micro industries are very, very broad and unique. The way we have been working with our customers, in terms of trying to define what is the desired state, and that desired state can be based on the priority of the customer, right? Around the productivity, safety, quality, sustainability that I and TP talked about. Once we have a clear view of the desired state, typically we do a lot of these exploratory workshop where we find to kind of create a working backward model, right? Either by doing some of the POCs or the pilots. Interestingly, if you see that the automation has helped customers to kind of allocate the resources, getting into a meaningful outcome rather than just focusing on the business as usual, right? So most of those resources are now getting repurposed into something which can be addition to the business. So as an approach from Google Cloud, we, along with our partner like Sears and of course customers and partner like BLP, we try to kind of do exploratory workshop or the session with the customers, try to understand what is the outcome they are looking at for their business. And the services, the technologies are incidental, right? Whether we can achieve it in the first phase or we can just take the phase-wise approach. That has been our working model, which has been doing really well. Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to talk about one of the points a lot of you all spoke about, and that is sustainability. And I think sustainability is becoming a top priority for the industry and all the companies that we have on the panel. And manufacturing companies are large consumers of energy. So Ashwin, companies are energy conscious. How is technology playing a role in sustainability, and what is still left to be done in this journey?
So energy efficiency plays very important role, and that is where or you have to constantly invest into the technology where with how you can have a smart metering in place, or using the platform like IoT, because customers are now they are very energy conscious in terms when they are investing into any product. So how can you give them the the return on investment in terms of giving them the best energy efficient product? So for that, it is important to it is important that the product what we manufacture are using the components which consume the less energy. And again, it's very important in terms of utilization. So going with a platform like IoT, where you can control your devices as and when there is a smart control is in place. So let's say you want your devices to make it on and off based on the smart, based on the IoT controls. And also that, sometimes the model like comes like when you use pay-per use. It's also important that with smart metering, you can go for a model where you use and you pay. So so it's very important that the traditional way, the way we used to sell, we used to manufacture, will also going undergo the change by bringing the energy efficient where customer get the more return out of what it is investing of. So this is constant process. We also invest heavily into the manufacturing, where that how we can bring the energy efficient product, and how our customer get more against their investment, how smartly he can control the devices, how we can also do the condition monitoring is of his devices using the IoT, where device can be centrally monitor, control, and we can have a lot of predictability in terms of the any premature failure of your product, or we can also have a proactive preventive maintenance calls based on the utilization. So energy monitoring and using the IoT platform, we can able to offer the product which gives the really value to the customer.
Naresh, at Vikram Solar, can you tell us how you're using technology to become more sustainable, energy conscious, and are you facing any challenges that still need to be addressed?
In terms of we are maintaining lot number of project sites, power generation sites, maybe government sites and private sites also. We are using a central monitoring system platform based on SCADA inputs coming from all the panels, all the modules. Means we can monitor each and for a particular site. Suppose it's a 50 megawatt site or 100 megawatt site. There are hundreds and thousands of modules installed. Each and every module is giving or sending the data, live data, to the central monitoring system, and at the sitting at the HO in Kolkata, we can monitor a particular performance of that module in terms of current production or the voltage production, or the if the module is not performing well, we can have that data and we can proactively react to that, change the clean the module, or change the wiring, and whatever the action needs to be taken. So that complete system is maintained at Vikram Solar. In terms of challenges, you can say the basic challenge will be in terms of getting that bandwidth, broadband connectivity or internet connectivity, so that the data is coming live to our HO. So that is a challenge here. The connectivity to the remote places in the villages or districts, that is a challenge.
Neeraj, would you like to come in? How can companies address this challenge?
So, yeah, when you're talking about sustainability as a goal, right? I think one of the key factors there, some of the companies, for example, Vikram Solar has a basically zero emission kind of a factory, right? So, one of the key things that we'll be doing is also the vendors that you're working with or the partners that you're working with. We need if we can look at those partners who are also being sustainable, who are also able to solve the needs of the sustainability goals that the organization has. That could be one way of working at. The other challenge that I heard even the Ranga sir mentioned as well, uh, about how do we ensure that the cloud technology is still relevant for MES, where the decision making needs to happen within a fraction of a second, right? That's where we can look at edge solutions, right? I think Tej sir also spoke about it. If we can have those edge solutions working along with those factory installations, and then this edge solutions then using the power of AI and ML provide the necessary guidance that is required for the MES systems to work. So yeah, those are some of the solutions that we can definitely work on and mitigate the challenges that we're talking on right now.
So, edge computing perhaps is the solution. We've been coming to you. At the start of the conversation, Deepak had spoken about four priorities of customers, and one of them is the security and safety of employees and data. And we know cyber attacks have been on an upward, trajectory. Your thoughts on, the importance of it, how to go about it, how technology is helping you all address if you're using cloud, how is cloud helping in the security and safety of your data, or does that actually make you more worried?
Yeah, you see, if you look at historically, organizations have treated technology as the perimeter layer, or possibly at the end computing layer. But today, with your mobile force, your employees becoming more mobile, and people using more deployments on the cloud, security today has become of paramount importance. And especially during pandemic, what we have seen is that end user who was not actually trained for all this environment he had so much phishing attacks, and people, organizations, they lost so much money by falling trap into all that. So today, if you look at when we design a new project today, technology becomes part of the design. Right from day one, we say that when this project or this technology is getting rolled out, this is the security layer we are going to put up. And historically, let us take the very basic layer of antivirus, for example. Traditional antiviruses have worked on signature-based this one, and your zero-day attacks they were not able to prevent. Today, the transformation even in the antivirus layer has come to where they incorporate machine learning and AI-based algorithms. They analyze user behavior, and based on the user behavior, they are able to sanitize the environment. So technology, as you plan the growth of technologies, the cybersecurity becomes all the more important. And today, the deployment of cybersecurity solutions is very, very specific to the use cases. It is no longer just talking about the firewalls or talking about the antiviruses or talking about a few things, DLPs here and there. Data itself also has become so much important. It is traveling all over the place. It is traveling on your endpoints, on tablets, on cloud, everywhere. So data classification has taken up so much important role. How do you treat the data has taken so much important role. Your data loss prevention theories have taken so much important role. So today, the cybersecurity layer has now become specific to the needs of the end user and the organization. It is no longer just a global word, that we use these 10 things and we are cyber secured. No. Today, the cybersecurity has to be part of the solution. And number two, which is more important, is many people believe that if you put your solutions on the cloud, you have a secured environment. And the answer to that is it is the biggest myth the IT industry carries. If you go through any of the contracts which you have on the cloud, you will find out that they will only give you a certain level of security. Beyond that certain level of security, it is you who have to deploy your own security solutions to protect your solutions. And that is why this security architecture has to get intermingled with the way you are designing your applications, your IT solutions. That's very, very important.
Thank you for highlighting that. Manoj, you spoke about how your company's already gone digital. You all use robotic process automation. You have warehouse management tools and process. But what is next? In terms of your digitization journey, what is your key requirement today?
As one of our colleagues has already explained that the coming time, we will have competition with the global leaders. And, this pandemic has thrown certain challenges to us. So the speed and the accuracy with the optimum cost is going to be a challenge, and particularly for the manufacturing firms. So we are continuously working on technology, as I explained in that we are into IoT, we are doing rapid prototyping, we are using 3Ds, but we are not stopping here. We are automizing our other manufacturing processes like with the use of MES, we are going for quality management systems. So there are a lot of processes which need to be carried out during launch of a product or during the series production, the control plans, the FMEAs, the work instructions, and a lot of efforts, manual efforts goes into it. And many a time it's a repetitive work. So we are going for quality management system. Along with that, today we are having customer portal, but in future we are planning to go for comprehensive CRM. We are also working on knowledge-based engineering. So these are the few things we are doing. We are also working on crystal ball solution to have accurate sales forecasting and long-term planning. So these are the few things we are working on non-manufacturing and manufacturing processes. However, we will keep on improving on the current sensors and IoTs, then moving to the AGVs and then machine learnings and artificial intelligence for predictive and prospective maintenance. So we are working in this.
We've been talking about the benefits of cloud, but it's still beset with challenges. So, as we wrap up this discussion, I think to get a 360-degree perspective, let's try and understand what are the challenges that the digitization process face. Vipul, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure. See, if you look at the evolution of cloud, especially in the Indian context, I mean, look at 5 years earlier, cloud was nice to have. Look at now, cloud is good to have. Maybe 5 years down the line, cloud is a must have. Now, this transition, there are certain challenges why this transition is taking time. One challenge, of course, if I look historically from the Indian organization's perspective, was the mindset. People always thought, when you put your data on the cloud, it is not in your premises, and everything within the premise is very secure, and everything outside the premise is unsecure. That was a mindset issue when it started. Slowly and steadily, with the evolution of cloud and a lot of education getting dissipated into the manufacturing sector and the other sectors of the economy, people today realize that security per se is no longer a challenge when you move your critical workloads to cloud. The challenges lies somewhere else. One challenge lies is the cost. It is a highly debated point in the industry. My take on that is that the upfront cost which I take on procuring a hardware, if that can be amortized over a period of 5 years on the cloud, I am going to go for the cloud. That's one. Second is we want more of cloud governance mechanism from the government. What happens in case of a cloud exit? The cloud exit strategies are not well defined. We have seen in many cases that people and organizations have really struggled to migrate their data from one cloud to the other. Third challenge, which I actually see, is the particular adoption part of the cloud by the business teams, especially the teams which are more inward facing. They still believe that if there's something lying in the server which they can see with their naked eyes, that is theirs, else everything belongs to the world. So that's a mindset changes with time, with more exposure, with more interaction, this will change. And fourth is our experience is that if you are a well diversified organization which operates even up to from semi-rural areas or rural areas, the adoption of cloud does give a challenge because of connectivity issues. Here also within your metro cities, you see, if you do the same session and if I'm traveling, you will find that my voice cracking in between, I will have black spots. So the connectivity layer still is not of that level, which actually makes organizations put their critical workloads on the cloud. So I think these are some of the challenges which are still to be addressed. And as they get addressed, as more maturity comes in, more transferability and the governance mechanism is there, then cloud adoption in the industry will become a good use case. Plus one more thought I would like to say is that today cloud is generic. When I say generic, you got very generic applications on the cloud. Or maybe certain deployments of the cloud which gives you certain like software applications. If you want to really penetrate in the industry in a big measure, what I believe is that organizations, these cloud organizations need to come up with industry specific solutions. They must have some solutions for, let us say, for the automotive industry, some from some other manufacturing, some for BFSI. So when you have those specific solutions which are pre-built, pre-configured, and that is where the adoption of the cloud will become more and more.
Culture, cost, cloud exit, connectivity issues are some of the challenges. I think we can safely say it all starts with let us see. But I think the key ask from cloud vendors is that we do need industry specific solutions. Ashwin, would you like to make some closing comments, add to what Vipin was saying?
Yeah, industry specific solutions is very important, where you can have a SaaS or PaaS based offering for any specific industry, for any specific solution. Let it be HR, let it be finance, let it be supply chain, marketing. So this having and second, it's important that here you are shortening your implementation cycle. You are getting the industry specific solution, having the best business practices of that specific vertical ready for you to deploy. So here in weeks you have a deployment time versus in a month you have a implementation time. So this is how it is very important to have a cloud with industry specific offering. again, important part is as everyone says, is that what is the turnaround time in case of in any issues. So the important is that on cloud, how we ensure that in case of downtime, how quickly you respond to, so there won't be any business stoppage. Because when there is any downtime in any cloud, the immediate question comes that had it been on our own premises, we could have not faced this issue. So it is very important for cloud providers to work on the uptime, and also give the statistic data commitment to the industries that, hey, we have a track record of not having any downtime, or we offer you 99.9 uptime. So these are the two very important, when you go for a cloud. Because yes, cloud is going to be a future, because the days have gone that you start hunting for a server when you are buying the application. Now when you are buying the application, your first question comes that, do you have a cloud offering? If he says no, then also you start looking for a public cloud, rather than having application to be hosted in-house. So in-house hostings, I think it's a gone days. So now it will be the future. Data security is again one of the key aspect which need to be addressed, which need to be governed. And also another important is the disaster recovery, that in case your cloud gone because of any natural issues and all, how you ensure that your application is up. So DR is also going to play a very important role in that.
So downtime recovery, let's add to that. Naresh, cloud is going to become ubiquitous, but the problem is the data exists, or most of the organizations still exist and work in silos. What is the change that we need to bring from a culture point of view to make sure cloud adoption happens seamlessly and accelerates from here on?
Rima, I think for coping up with these challenges, the companies or the manufacturing organization can look for hybrid solutions. Maybe some of the application they can go for SaaS model. Some of the application they can still go for in-house server mechanism. It will depend on the three factors. How to define whether it will go for complete cloud solution or a mixed solution. So there are three factors. First will be the cost, total cost of acquisition. Means already some our colleague has told, if we break down the cost of the server for 5 years and amortize that and compare it with the cloud cost for 5 years, then I think we can arrive at a decision on comparative decision whether the cost of the cloud is good to have. And the second will be the adoption of the cloud technology or the services. Third will be the for security, cloud itself is saying that we are secure, we are giving secured layer and all. Still we need to connect through our own controlled network, maybe through two-factor authentication, or maybe through VPN connectivity. It may be end-to-end connectivity between the cloud server to your local devices. And third is connectivity. Connectivity is a major point here. When we are in the remote places, when we are in the district places, like we are facing challenges in remote places, we are getting connectivity issue, whether it is cloud, whether it is non-cloud, there is a connectivity issue in terms of connecting through internet. So these are the three challenges we are facing.
JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon famously said when he did his Q4 investor call, that's just I think in December or January, he said, if I could spend $2 billion immediately and move to the cloud, I would do that in an instance. This was when he was saying that his technology budget for the coming year is going to be $12 billion. And that's the extent of endorsement JP Morgan had for cloud. But Mohit, at the Minda Group, we've all been outlining the challenges, the way ahead. What, according to you, would be your closing comments?
As I explained, we are practicing various levers of Industry 4.0. This industry, it is IoT and other platforms. So honestly, that cloud has come as a support. Yes, there are issues related to the cost, and then the challenges coming for the data security and the connectivity. But I'm quite hopeful that the more and more penetration will go up, so these issues will be resolved.
Deepak, the industry is asking for specific solutions which cater to them rather than generic ones, more personalized, more curated. What would be, is Google working on these industry specific solutions?
Oh, yes. So I just would like to kind of have 3 points covered based on what I recently heard from other panelists as well. One, in terms of the the continuity of the cloud and the safety and the security, right? If you look at the Google, we give the same services which is getting used for our current products, right? Which is a Google search or a YouTube or Android platform or the overall Google ecosystem, right? So we have the same building blocks getting offered to all our customers. Doesn't matter whether they are using it for a web application or for a mission critical application, right? So that's what more on the continuity and the I would say reliability of the platform. Second, we have now a lot of customers starting from a bank to a healthcare to a CPG to a retail, a microfinance company, manufacturer as well, even the jewelry designers who are leveraging our product and services, right? And our model is that we have to make sure that the cost is given, right? I'm sure the comparison will happen with the cost, and customer expect it to be much more cost effective in the near term and the long term. But I believe the most of the conversation we are getting from the board and the CXO is on the pace of innovation, diversifying their business, and can we grow at a faster pace, right? Can their business grow at a faster pace? That is what the desired state which has been put in by the CXOs and the promoters, right? The last one is the whole cloud journey is not rip and replace, right? I guess we need to prioritize, and that's why I always recommend of doing those industry workshop days with our customers, trying to understand their business well by just not talking to the internal IT team, but also to the line of business. Once we have a broader view, then we can prioritize, right? Which application to be maybe migrated as it is, which are the one where we have to kind of get into a microservices architecture, and which are the areas where they should be thinking about a SaaS-based solution, right? Which is already proven and they don't need a lot of skills, right? The skills development is also work in progress. As a Google, we are committed to invest and make the ecosystem much more scalable through training people and bringing everyone to a platform where they can understand and support all these technologies. Yeah.
So we don't want technology for the sake of technology, but align your digitization needs with your business objectives. Nirav, could you throw some more light on how with your experience with customers, how this digitization has helped them innovate, perhaps come up with a new business product, entered into new markets at a faster pace? Because Deepak spoke about one of the key asks from the customers is actually helping them accelerate their pace of innovation. So would you like to comment on that?
So I think first of all, I'll conquer a lot of the challenges that the solvers here have mentioned, and these are real, right? These are real problems that we face when we interact with our customers day in day out. But I look at the positive side of it as well. Like when we work with them, we have kind of figured out a way to move around these challenges, either by prioritizing a different set of workloads or figuring it out alternate solutions, right? So that's the first part. Right? The challenges are real, but yes, of course, there are solutions that we have worked on that. So one of the examples where the agility of cloud is really been beneficial. I'll talk about and I hinted it toward in my previous conversations is with Kia Motors, right? Kia is basically during the pandemic when the customers could not really visit the showroom. Kia used Google's workspace infrastructure to set up a virtual showroom, right, where customers can walk in, look around the vehicles, and then finally make their purchase decisions. And they build an entire workflow or a system around this so that they are not affected by the pandemic. Now, if you don't have a technology like cloud, like a collaboration tool like Google Workspace, doing such kind of a solution in a record break time, right, where you would turn around the solution within 2 to 3 weeks. So that kind of an agility is then completely missed out on, right? Similar agility is what I was talking about in the case of LG when they implemented defect detection kind of a process, anomaly detection process for their LCD panels. So again, in this case, seven engineers, seven quality engineers working on a process 365 days a year versus one junior engineer training a model and then the model taking care of 99.9% of the accuracy. This sort of automation and agility is again something that a cloud can deliver, right? So there are cases, and then there are plenty of such examples that I can share as well, right? Where there are cases where customers have been able to take the benefit of the instant availability of a scalable infrastructure to really build on the business case that they really want to take it to the market.
And Tejpreet, just one final question. Many of the challenges can be addressed, like cost, culture, but what about connectivity? What is the way out of that challenge?
Yeah, no, thanks so much for that, Rima. Rima, let me just mention one more point before I get on to the connectivity point on sustainability. Why it's so critical. Everybody thinks about sustainability, about energy efficiency, but if you really think about it, $650 billion goes in unplanned downtime in manufacturing around the world, and industries contribute to 20% of the global carbon footprint. And why it's absolutely essential for companies to get onto the sustainability wagon is that if you're a tier one supplier to an OEM in the auto industry, today the OEMs are pushing tier one, tier two, and tier three suppliers to meet certain sustainability criteria, and therefore sustainability is going to be absolutely essential. But coming to your point, Rima, in terms of connectivity, like a lot of my previous panelists mentioned, that one of the biggest challenges is connectivity because there's 4G, fiber, etc. But I think one of the big changes that's going to happen in the world of our Industry 4.0 is the new coming of 5G now. And in fact, Google and us and one of the largest telecom companies in India have actually showcased and currently doing and deploying AI technologies in the world of manufacturing using 5G. And I think that's going to be a big change in the way connectivity happens in terms of factories, mines, coal mines, all the way through to ports. So now we're beginning to test the use of 5G technology along with AI in terms of connectivity. The second point on cost, and I think that's a very valid point everybody's raised, and I think we in India have shown the world how to do frugal manufacturing. And I think that journey in trying to drive down cost of manufacturing using AI and IoT is going to be critical. The third challenge I see, which I think we've made a lot of progress, is in India, generally, we haven't come out with products. We've been IT service product, a service industry. And I think the next big phase in our country is going to be how do we take all our experience in coming out with more products, focus on driving productivity in manufacturing. In terms of connectivity, the other big challenge, Rima, we have, like you said, is no machine, no sensor, no gateway have standard protocols. If you talk about, a CNC machine or a press or any of these machines or cranes on ports, each one of them have different SCADAs, different sensors. When we deploy sensors into machines and different gateways into machines, they have different protocols. And therefore, one of the things we've been doing is developing certain edge software that communicates. It doesn't matter whether it's a wind turbine, a gas turbine, a steam turbine, a ship or a port, a crane on a port. We have the ability to make these things communicate, which improves the ability to extract data. And the last point I'll just say very quickly, and I think one of my other colleagues mentioned that, is speed of innovation. And that's going to be one of our biggest challenges. If we have to compete in a global world where the speed of innovation in this IT world is changing so rapidly, I think we in India need to develop that as well. And I think people like Google Cloud and other providers can really help us keep up with that pace of innovation that's required in driving transformation of industry in India to the next level.
Tejpreet and the others, thank you very much for that. The manufacturing industry is not new to disruption or innovation, right from the time of assembly line to mass production, and now Industry 4.0, which will be driven by technology. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been an extremely insightful discussion. Thank you once again for joining in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.